The story begins when a blonde girl calls out to our main character. They exchange a brief conversation before she suddenly starts to fade away. Realizing this, he reaches out to grab her, only for his face to slam into two massive mountains. He tries to apologize to her, but a loud slap echoes across the boat. After calming himself down, Shinpei wonders how many years has it been since he last came to the island. Shinpei returns to the island to attend his childhood friend funeral. Upon reaching the island, he was greeted by his childhood friend's sister, Mio. Failing to break, she soared off the edge like a missile, crashing into the ocean while giving everyone an unexpected glimpse of her underwear. After helping her get out of the water, they chat about various things. While heading to the funeral, Mio reveals that the island now has many people she doesn't know, but lately, even people she knows sometimes seem like strangers. Shinpei guesses it's due to the many tourists around this time of the year. At the funeral, Shinpei reflects on the past, how he lost his parents 10 years ago and was taken in by the Kofune family. To him, Ushio wasn't just a childhood friend, she was family. After paying respect to her, Su, Shinpei's best friend, embraces him with tears in his eyes. He explains that Ushio drowned while trying to save a child. Su apologizes for not being able to do anything and tells Shinpei to hit him until he feels better. However, Shinpei states it's fine, and since everyone is crying, he is able to remain calm. Su points out at Shiori Kobayakawa, stating it's her that Ushio saved, but the girl haven't spoken since then. Shinpei gets called to help with the procession, and Su tells him he will give him the details later. That night, Shinpei prepares curry for Mio and Alan. As they eat, a police officer notices Mio standing outside of the house and looking at it. After dinner, Su calls Shinpei and explains that the police found strange marks on Ushio's neck, similar to strangling, making it possible that Ushio was killed. Su explains, they were playing on the beach behind the elementary school, and Ushio noticed Shiori drowning and quickly went to save her. Su explains only a few people know about the marks, but due to the situation, the police labeled it as incident as it couldn't have been a murder. Mio then knocks on Shinpei's door and gives him Ushio's necklace. Shinpei asks her if she knows something, but Mio blows her nose on Shinpei's shirt, saying that he can have the bath now and that Ushio would be mad if he is always depressed. As she leaves, Shinpei looks at the necklace, remembering how he gave it to Ushio, who had promised to treasure it forever. The next day, Alan reopens his diner with Shinpei helping out, believing that this is the best way to cope with the loss. Tetsu enters the dinner and asks for the usual. Shinpei recalls he is related to Kofune's family and is the only police officer on the island, but he gets caught watching naked girl, prompting Shinpei to scold him. Tetsu explains that all Kobayakawa family had vanished. In the morning, their Koba mart wasn't open. He believes they may had a debt and fled during the night. Hearing that, Mio runs outside and Shinpei goes after her. After catching up to her, Mio explains that about a week earlier, Shiori said she had seen a girl who looked exactly like her, and ever since then, Shiori had felt like she was being watched every day. As Mio finishes explaining, a man suddenly interrupts, asking if what Shiori saw might have been a shadow. Mio identifies him as a local hunter named Jinjiro Nizu. He explains it's likely the shadow sickness, a condition once common on the island before the war. According to old tales, those who caught the sickness would begin to see their own shadow. Everyone who saw it eventually died, killed by the shadow itself. Afterward, the shadow would impersonate its victim and go on to murder their remaining family. Before departing, Jinjiro mentions that his grandfather once told him the afflicted could be cleansed by visiting Haruko Shrine. Mio then quietly confesses something she's never told anyone. 3 days before Ushio's death, she saw Ushio's shadow. While collecting trash with the group, Ushio suddenly noticed it too and pointed it out. The shadow vanished before their eyes. Shinpei suspects it might be a joke, but Mio insists it's true. Taking her seriously, Shinpei suggests they go to Haruko, just as Jinjiro advised. At the shrine, Shinpei tries the door, but it's locked. Suddenly, Mio spots movement in the nearby forest. A shadowy figure darts between the trees. She's certain it was Shiori and urges Shinpei to chase after her. They sprint through the woods, but there's no sign of her. As they catch their breath, Shinpei begins to question if that really was Shiori. Why would she run from them? Before they can make sense of it, a gunshot rings out in the distance. They rush toward the sound and discover a horrifying scene. The woman with glasses whom Shinpei had bumped into on the boat is lying on the ground, bleeding from a gunshot wound. Barely conscious, the woman murmurs that she's failed. She tries to tell Shinpei something important, but before she can finish, a bullet rips through her head. Shinpei turns and what he sees is chilling. Mio stands before him, holding a gun, aiming at another Mio as a hostage. She pulls the trigger, killing the other Mio, then turns the gun on Shinpei and shoots. Everything goes black. Shinpei dreams about the moment Ushio died, watching Sue desperately try to revive her. Then suddenly, he found himself on the boat, accidentally bumping into the same woman from before and getting slapped again. She comments that he looked like he was having a bad dream. Recognizing her as the woman from the forest, Shinpei strangely asks if she's ever been shot with a handgun, which confuses her even more. Checking his phone, he notices the date is July 22nd, even though he remembers going to Haruko with Mio on the 23rd. He assumes he just had a nightmare because he felt asleep while reading the novel. When Shinpei steps onto the island, he gets the unsettling feeling he's already lived this moment. Mio greets him and, just like before, she falls into the water, only this time, Shinpei notices the brake wire on her bike has been cut. He later attends Ushio's funeral and experiencing the day exactly as he remembers it, and a brief flashes of upcoming events make him start believing that the shadows might actually exist. Later, after cooking curry, Shinpei steps outside for some fresh air, pondering about the brake wire that had been cut and whether someone had deliberately tried to kill Mio. Shinpei then overhears the police officer spotting Mio standing outside the house, which puzzles Shinpei, since Mio should be indoors and no longer wearing her school uniform. Suddenly, Mio attacks Tetsu, stabbing him repeatedly with a kitchen knife. Horrified, Shinpei realizes this isn't the real Mio, but a shadow. A sudden flash erupts, and a shadow emerges from Mio's own shadow, transforming into the likeness of Tetsu. The newly formed shadow Tetsu touches the real Tetsu's corpse, triggering another flash that disintegrates the body. Shadow Mio then asks Shadow Tetsu for his gun, revealing she hasn't yet killed the real Mio or taken her place. She explains that her earlier attempt that morning failed, and it would be easier to finish the job if she can send Mio to the hospital first. Taking the gun, she notes she can't kill her now without everyone hearing the gunshot. At that critical moment, Sue, who had promised to call Shinpei at the funeral, phones him. The vibration of Shinpei's phone alerts Shadow Mio, who tracks him down and stabs him in the neck. As Shinpei bleeds out, Shadow Tetsu wonders if she will copy him, but she begins to say that Shinpei is already something. Before he can hear the rest, he loses consciousness. Shinpei's consciousness drifts above his body, and as he's transported through a strange space, he hears Ushio's voice warning him to be careful and protect Mio. He then wakes up on July 22nd, just as he's stepping onto the island once again. Anticipating Mio's fall into the water, he positions himself in front of her bike to stop her, only to get knocked into the water himself. Elsewhere, Hizuru, the woman with glasses, records herself while hanging upside down from a tree, noting how long she's been on the island and what she's eaten. She explains that hanging this way sends more blood to her head, and helping her think more clearly. While observing Shiori, she remarks that the shadow is among the people, and decides to keep watch for now. That evening, Shinpei calls Tetsu, fabricating a fight to lure him elsewhere so he won't cross paths with Shadow Mio. Thinking over his next move, Shinpei deletes unnecessary apps on his phone to free up space, and sets it to record outside the house, aiming to capture Shadow Mio on video. Inside the house, he notices his right eye is now a different color, but doesn't know when it changed. Concerned for Mio's safety, he peeks into the bathroom only to get smacked in the face by the shower head for peeking. In the morning, Shinpei retrieves his phone and goes to Mio's room. He shows her the recording, explaining that a shadow appeared the previous night watching her, and that its goal is to kill her. He also tells her that Ushio had seen her own shadow 3 days before the incident. Mio, recalling that conversation, assumes Ushio must have told him this, and concludes that Ushio was killed by a shadow. Shinpei explains to Mio that he saw a shadow copy a human, so Mio suggests they speak with Shiori, since she also witnessed her own shadow, but Shinpei stops her, determined to keep Mio safe. He insists on going alone. Shinpei goes to the Kobe Mart but finds it closed. Shomi shows up and also finds it odd, so they ring the doorbell. When no one answers and the door turns out to be unlocked, inside, they discover the dining table still covered with untouched food and the TV left running, but no one is in sight. While Shomi looks around, Shinpei notices black stains identical to the ones left by Shadow Tetsu, leading him to conclude the family was attacked during dinner the previous night. He also spots strange dents in the floor. Since the stains appear to be adult-sized, Shinpei decides to head upstairs to check on Shomi. As Shinpei goes upstairs, he tries to turn on the lights, but notices a sudden flash behind him. Shiori is standing there, asking why he had asked her yesterday if she had seen a girl like herself. She questions why he's staring at her, and if something is wrong with her. In that moment, Shinpei realizes Shiori is actually a shadow, and recalls seeing her at the funeral. When Shiori generates another shadow, he understands that the flash at the funeral had already afflicted him with the shadow sickness. Shomi then approaches him, and the shadow disappeared. After reporting the family missing to the police, Shinpei leaves and wonders what to do next. He decides he should try to save the woman with glasses this time, and begins searching for her at different inns, but no one has seen her. When he asks Nakamura, the man says he gets many visitors. Struggling to describe her, Shinpei blurts out that she has a large bust, which immediately makes Nakamura realize who he's talking about. However, Nakamura explains that she only visited his coffee shop, not an inn. Shinpei then recalls that later that day, a drunk Nakamura will ask him if he ever managed to find her. Shinpei returns to the diner, where Tetsu shows up, ready to question him about the fake fight report. Before he can, Shinpei distracts him by asking if he wants his usual order, which Tetsu confirms. Tetsu then shares that the Kobayakawa family is missing, and that a detective from the mainland will be arriving that evening. Realizing Tetsu's reaction is natural and different, Shinpei confirms he's the real one and not a shadow. Tetsu hands Shinpei a phone, which Mio immediately recognizes as Ushio's. Tetsu explains that Ushio had visited him the day before her death, and asked him to give the phone to Shinpei if anything happened to her. Su then arrives, and Shinpei decides to tell him everything, including that Mio is the next target. Su wonders if they can identify shadows, but Shinpei admits he doesn't know of any reliable way. Mio suggests they consult the shrine, but Shinpei, recalling that Shadow Mio is there, wants to avoid it and instead considers tomorrow. Su reminds him that the festival takes place then, making it the busiest time of the year for the shrine, meaning the priest won't have time for them. But Shinpei realizes that the large crowds could actually make them safer, and convinces them to go during the festival. Before leaving, Su suggests they create a code, and Mio proposes something based on Mesopotamian culture. Later, as Shinpei and Mio head home, it begins to rain. While waiting it out, Mio shyly asks how long he plans to stay, admitting she kind of wishes he could stay forever. She then gives him Ushio's shell necklace, saying she would be happy if Shinpei were the one to have it. In the evening, Shinpei still hasn't managed to unlock Ushio's phone. Su, Tokiko, and Mio arrive to take him to the festival. Shinpei asks Su what he had been looking into the previous day, but Su brushes it off and urges them to head out. At the festival, while Shinpei and Su are briefly alone, Su confides that he once promised to protect Ushio, but failed because he wasn't there when she needed him. He tells Shinpei it was not his fault, but now, he must focus on protecting Mio, and if Shinpei cannot, then Su will. Shinpei realizes from this that Su still has feelings for Mio. When Mio joins them and asks what they were talking about, Su panics and blurts out that they were debating whether they prefer butts or boobs.
What do you mean by that?
Mio gives Shinpei a suspicious look. Tokiko, intrigued, mentions that Shinpei accidentally walked in on Mio in the bath, and asks what his feelings for Mio really are. Shinpei clarifies that he cares for her only as family. Su then shares that his father told him the priest will be available after the fireworks, meaning they can visit the shrine then. At that moment, Shinpei spots Ushio in the crowd and impulsively runs after her. He follows her all the way to the beach, where he sees her standing out in the water. Shinpei finds Ushio on the beach, and she immediately runs to him and hugs him, surprised that he has returned. Shinpei, convinced she died, assumes she must be a shadow, but Ushio insists she is alive. When he asks what she's doing there and whether she remembers what happened, Ushio struggles. She recalls pain, being underwater, and then the realization that she truly did die. Confused, she wonders aloud if she is now a ghost. She explains that before she died, she had one wish: to see Shinpei again. Her tone and behavior are so convincingly her own that Shinpei begins to believe she may have genuinely returned from the dead. Ushio adds that she had wanted to tell him something if he ever came back, and that is to confess her feeling. Shinpei tries to stay composed and avoid being deceived, asking her plainly what she wants. Looking up at the fireworks, Ushio asks if it is already the 24th, and when Shinpei confirms, she admits her wish was simply to go to the festival with him. Realizing that Ushio does not believe herself to be a shadow, Shinpei follows her back into the festival. Since she is still wearing her swimsuit and drawing attention, he grabs her and runs, telling her to stay hidden until the festival ends. He explains that everyone believes she is dead, and that she cannot meet her friends. Feeling annoyed, Ushio punches him, warning him not to say such nonsense. The reaction convinces Shinpei even more that this is the real Ushio, as it's exactly how she would act. As they talk, Ushio demonstrates that she remembers their childhood clearly, but has no knowledge of shadows. When Mio calls Shinpei, Ushio answers the phone and greets her, shocking Mio on the other end. Shinpei quickly covers it up, claiming Mio must be imagining things. Mio then tells him the fireworks are over, and that everyone is waiting at the shrine. Shinpei says he'll be there shortly, and tells Ushio to remain hidden until he returns. He reminds her that she once told him to protect Mio, but Ushio has no memory of ever saying that. Shinpei rejoins Mio and the others as they observe the ceremony. On this island, it is believed that anything that washes ashore becomes a vessel for the god Haruko no Mikoto. Su asks to speak with Mio in private. Tokiko quietly tells Shinpei that Su plans to confess, though she doubts it will succeed since Mio already loves someone else. When Shinpei presses her for details, Tokiko refuses to say more. Soon after, Su asks both Tokiko and Shinpei to listen as he confesses his feelings to Mio, saying he loves her and wants to protect her. Mio gently turns him down, explaining that while she likes him, she wants them to remain friends. At that moment, a poorly disguised Ushio appears, trying to cheer Su up. Her disguise quickly fails, and everyone recognizes her. Though she initially tries to deny it, Ushio admits she simply wanted to see them again. Mio, however, insists that this is not Ushio but a monster, warning Shinpei to stay away and claiming she is a shadow. Shinpei refuses to listen and grabs Ushio, causing her visible pain. Looking directly at her, Shinpei questions her actions, pointing out that she could not possibly replace someone whose funeral had already been held, and concludes she never intended to switch places. Suddenly, a shadow emerges from Shinpei himself, shocking everyone and revealing that Shinpei, too, is a shadow. About 10 minutes earlier, as Shinpei is running toward the shrine, he encounters Shadow Mio, who has just killed someone. She grabs him and violently throws him aside, accusing him of recording her. She realizes that this would only be possible if he already knew she was coming. Noticing the numerous black stains around them, Shinpei understands that Shadow Mio has already killed many people. When she asks whether a traitor told him, she dismisses the question, stating that the plan is nearly complete, and she cannot allow any interference. At that moment, a shadow Shinpei appears and questions how many times Shinpei has already died before triggering a flash. Shinpei realizes that the earlier flash at Shiori's house created a copy of him with all of his memories up to that point, and that this new flash will now update that copy with everything that has happened since. Shadow Mio attempts to kill Shinpei, but Shadow Shinpei stops her, arguing that they should think carefully. If they kill him now, he will simply loop again. Shadow Shinpei explains that while Shinpei cannot control the looping at will, repeatedly returning to July 22nd will eventually make him a serious obstacle. He tells Shadow Mio to take Shinpei's phone and send others to retrieve Ushio, then heads toward the shrine. Shinpei tries to stop him, but Shadow Mio breaks his arm, telling him he is struggling pointlessly because Mother will soon awaken. As Shinpei continues to resist, Shadow Mio considers breaking his leg as well, but before she can, Hizuru appears and shoots Shadow Mio in the head.